Natu, sometimes known as TT, sometimes known as Chairman. We are back with yet another segment of the current review. And this afternoon, we are happy to be joined by the economic freedom fighters, and we'll be, engaging, some parts of their recent statements on the first 100 days of the government of national unity led by the DA and the ANC, or led by the ANC and the DA. The EFF has been vocal, about their concerns, highlighting issues like austerity, privatization, and rising unemployment. They claim that the coalition has failed to deliver a meaningful policy direction for South Africans, and instead it is catering to political elites. Our guest today is Anthony Matumba. He's a member of the EFF's Central Command team. He'll be providing insights into the EFF's perspective on the coalition's governance and discussing key challenges the party sees in South Africa's future under this administration. Let's dive into this critical conversation and unpack the EFF stance on the DA-ANC alliance or coalition. Mr. Matumba, thank you very much, Ben, for joining us today. Could you please start by sharing the EFF's general assessment of the, first 100 days of the GNU?
What we have seen is the relationship between DA and then ANC being coined as government of national unity, because we don't see any national unity by the relationship between DA and the ANC. The relationship that was forced by those who funded the DA and the ANC when going to elections. So it's relationship of convenience between the two. So there's no government of national unity. So that's why what we see is the DA bullying the ANC. That's why you don't understand who's leading who, because it was supposed to be the ANC leading, but we see that it is the DA leading to a point where instead of signing the Bella bill, the president go and sign it, removing the most important clauses which change the schooling, our education system, in terms of the white school governing bodies, excluding black children from accessing education in towns. So there's nothing really that was achieved. As you can see, that the sectors lost almost 50,000 jobs. So there's nothing that was done. We only see the DA celebrating achievements of previous ministers, but they do not have achievements of their own. You see some ministers are more active on Twitter than in reality. They are changing nothing in reality, but on Twitter they are very much vocal. So there's nothing really that is happening except for white media trying to paint this GNU as something that is working while it is not working for us.
And the EFF has been very critical of the coalition's economic performance, particularly job losses in sectors like manufacturing, like you just mentioned now, mining and transport. Are you able to elaborate on how the EFF views these developments?
How then?
How do you view, like, the development in terms of the job losses in sectors like manufacturing, mining, and transport?
Now, the job losses in manufacturing, business service, mining and transport, trade industry is just a reflection of showing you that there is nothing that is happening practical. Because in manufacturing, that's where we should have been leading, because without industrializing the economy, there won't be any jobs that will be created. So what the DA and the ANC relationship focus mainly on is what their funders want them to focus on, which is the financial sector. So you will find that banks are the ones that are registering profit, but in the mainstream economy where people should have been getting jobs, there is nothing that is happening. I mean, you can't justify the 16,000 job cut in manufacturing while we are importing lot of final products and exporting raw material as they are. So you can see that it is the relationship that is not meant to benefit me and you at home, but it is meant to benefit few individuals who have been benefiting ever since. So this economy or this government is the representatives of those who won the Anglo-Boer War, is the government of representatives of those who killed Bambata, is the government of those who took our mineral resources. It's the government of those who took our land in 1652. So, because they are the ones that are benefiting most from this government than us who should have been benefiting. So, this government is actually reversing all the benefits of 1994. The political benefits are now reversed. So we don't have progress in terms of getting our economy back, but we are regressing in terms of the political freedom that we gained. So we no longer see the benefits of any political freedom. It's as if 1994 never happened.
And, while the government is actually highlighting a 0.4% economic growth in this term, what do you respond? What is your response to that?
Yeah, that economic growth, it only translates to the financial sector. So we have financialized our economy. It's your banks that is making money, but in reality, the people at home do not feel any impact of an economy that is growing, because if it goes to what I told you, that the ANC is no longer in charge, because in the 1969 Morogoro conference, the ANC is the one that says they are going to embark into a national democratic revolution. And in that national democratic revolution, what they're going to do is to collapse the economic infrastructure that is meant to oppress us as Black people. But that is not being done. Because if they are to collapse that economic infrastructure that is meant to oppress us, what we should have seen in terms of economic growth is in the manufacturing sector. What we should have seen is when they are coming up with laws that make it a point that we don't export more. We don't export raw materials as they are. We manufacture everything here at home. So that is not happening. And the other thing is that in that growth, those that are benefiting are those that are engaged in profit shifting and tax-based erosion. So that increase doesn't relate anything in terms of in our household. We feel no impact on that growth.
And talking about this point you're talking about just now, the ANC Youth League, I just spoke to them also a couple of minutes ago. They are to be embarking on a national march, like calling it the Economic Freedom March, targeting the JSE, decrying such issues as you are talking about, reindustrialization, the slow pace there, and the manufacturing lacking because we export raw materials instead of actually beneficiating him in our country. Would you be supporting that particular much of the economic of the ANC Youth League?
You see, it's one thing. It's a misguided march, because they are saying re-industrialization, and that's why I took you back to Morogoro Conference of 1969. I wonder if they read the resolution of Morogoro Conference, or they even understand their identity now, because we are dealing with people who no longer understand who they are and who they seek to benefit. Because what we need now is massive industrialization. We don't need any re-industrialization. We are starting this thing from the ground. Massive industrialization, and not only industrialization, but protected industrialization. So we need a government that protects the industrialization. You will remember Cyril Ramaphosa went and opened a cell phone manufacturing company. And as the EFF, we knew that that cell phone manufacturing company, the industry is going to collapse. Why? Because it is not protected against competitors from outside. So if you are to focus on the cardinal pillars of the EFF, you will see that we need massive protected industrial development. So what they are crying for, they can industrialize today, they can re-industrialize today, tomorrow, or yesterday. It is going to collapse at any given time, because you have a government of individuals without backbone to protect their own industries against outside competitors. You have the government that does not want to invest in its own people. So what they talk about every time is they want to attract investors. They want to attract investors. And who are these investors? These investors are the same people who colonized us. These investors are the same people who are oppressing us economically today. So you want to invest in, you want people who during COVID, they are the first ones to pull out from South Africa and manufacture from home. So that's why we're saying we don't want any re-industrialization. We want to industrialize in an African way here in South Africa, financed by us and run by us. We want to be the captains of our own industry. So those ones, that is the march of begging someone to come and invest here in South Africa. We don't want to beg anyone to invest here. We want to invest here on our own and work on with our own hands.
So the ANC Youth League, you say, is misguided, and therefore you would not be supporting it on that particular basis. But would it not be proper to, to give that particular march, proper context and proper content guided towards the objectives of the economic freedom fighters instead?
What the ANC Youth League must understand is that the ANC is long dead. Even its president today, Cyril Ramaphosa is not the product of the ANC. The ANC can claim and say, this cadre is ours, we polished him. You will understand that the first day he was detained, when he was in Teflon, he was not a member of any ANC structure. He was a member of some Christian student arrangement. And he was polished by Sarah Woodhouse, who gave birth to the Minel family. So the ANC can't claim that man. So the current comrade of the ANC who's leading is not a product of the ANC. The current partner of the ANC is not the SACP, it's not COSATU. Their major partner is the DA. The ANC do for the DA that which they will never do for COSATU, that which they will never do for SACP. So that's why when the SACP say this is the direction that we must move towards, the ANC is bold enough to tell the ANC, the SACP and COSATU where to get off. But when DA stand firm and say, this Bella bill, we are against it, the president of the ANC is too quick to say, I can sign. But where white people are saying I must not sign, we are going to remove those clauses. Removing something that all members of parliament of the ANC agreed on. But he can sign because the big boss, Helen Zille, is saying, don't do it. So the ANC Youth League must know that where they are, they can make as much noise as they can, but they are not going to find any expression because the ANC is no longer what it was in 1969. It's the new ANC that is reformed, the new ANC that is working with the killers of Chris Hani. I mean, how in 1993, when Chris Hani was killed by the Conservative Party, would you ever think that a comrade of the Conservative Party, a leader of the Conservative Party, can be a minister of correctional service in the ANC's government? So the ANC Youth League must just leave that thing of the ANC Youth League and come and join the EFF, because this is where they are going to find expression.
And on moving on to other issues, like there have been cuts to public services, including potential job losses for teachers and the cancellation of nutrition programs. How do you, as the EFF, perceive these austerity measures, and what impact do you think they will have on South African communities?
We have said it a long time ago that South Africa is losing lots of money through profit shifting and tax-based erosion. And as such, the country loses a lot of money. You will remember that even Lone Min Mine, which killed workers for demanding just a living wage, was involved in the same thing of profit shifting and tax-based erosion. The other thing is that we as a country, we need to understand that we are a country that is a developing, which is a developing country, but that we can discuss in another day, because you have we have a lot of minerals, the minerals that we are benefiting nothing from. So we need to nationalize our mines, and we need to nationalize our reserve bank. We need to have state bank as soon as possible. We need to revive our state-owned enterprises. ESCOM need to come. ESCOM need to come to the party. DNL need to come to the party. Post office need to come to the party. If that do not happen, we as a country we are going nowhere. We need to industrialize, because we are living in it's a time bomb thing, because you have youth who are supposed to be working and contributing towards their retirement. Now the same youth is lining for 350 with old people. So we can't have a nation like that. We need to get our youth to work and contribute meaningfully. So without the nationalization of banks and other strategic sectors, without nationalization of our land, without any compensation, there is nowhere we are going. Because do a turnaround in Soweto, go to Alexander, go to Tembisa, you will find our youth lingering around with nothing to do. They are not participating in the economy, because those who are in charge of our economy after Anglo-Boer War are still in charge of our economy. So our economy continue to serve little portion of the population, and the rest of us, we are not participating in the economy.
And the EFF has also raised concerns about the the GNU's lack of clear international policy, especially regarding the Middle East and the Ukraine-Russia war. How would the EFF approach these issues differently if you were, in a position to approach them differently?
What is happening? It's that's why we're saying the ANC is dead, because the real ANC support Palestine, but this ANC of now, how do you have ANC being in a relationship with an Israel-funded DA? So that's why now there is a motion passed by Parliament, which even the ANC supported, but they can't act on the motion because they don't want to anger Madam. That's why you find now Fikile Mbalula is now a spokesperson and defender of Madam. If you want to know what is in the head of Madam, you just listen to Fikile Mbalula. You no longer listen to Madam, you no longer listen to John Steenhuisen. Just listen to Mbalula, then you know the position of Madam. So what needs to happen now is that as South Africans, we are clear. We support Russia because Russia supported us when it was not fashionable to support us. Palestine is suffering what we suffered for more than 300 years. What Israel is doing to Palestine, it's what happened to us in 1652, where people just come and took our land. What Palestine is facing, it's exactly what happened to us in 1913, where Parliament passed Natives Land Act to say black people can only occupy a small portion of South Africa, and the whole of South Africa now belongs to those who came in 1652. Our land was taken from us. As a Venda-speaking person, we were taken and say, you can only occupy Venda. Tongas can occupy Kasankulu. So what is happening to Palestine? It's exactly what happened to us, and we should have been more vocal than anyone else. We should have been acting, not only taking matters to court. Any company that supports Israel shouldn't be operating in South Africa. Any company that comes from Israel shouldn't be operating here in South Africa. So what was supposed to be happening is we should have been giving Palestine a physical support. What Iran is doing, it's exactly what South Africa should have been doing, because we know that pain firsthand. We know what it feels like to be a foreigner in your own country. So we should have been doing the same. I mean, imagine you wake up in Palestine today, and tomorrow you are no longer in Palestine, you are in Israel. You can't have citizenship, you can't vote, you are a foreigner, and you are abused every day. So it's exactly what happened to us.
And on to other issues, the EFF was also accused, the DA of appointing unqualified personnel within government roles. Could you share more about these accusations, especially as it concerns Minister John Steenhuisen's recent actions? What is your guys' view on this?
John Steenhuisen himself is not qualified to be a minister. Himself is not qualified. So it's what you see. You know, this government of coalition between DA and ANC is exposing what is happening daily in South Africa. You have a lot of white people who are working as managers in supermarkets and factories, but they are not qualified at all. I know a certain shop in Vuan, the white manager do not have grade 12. So it's exactly what is happening. But let me bring it political. So what you see happening is DA is bringing back Job Reservation Act through backdoor. Apartheid is coming back through backdoor. That's why they are even doing it in Cape Town. You can interview them, ask them, don't you, are you meeting targets in terms of hiring black people in managerial positions? The last report was showing that they are failing to hire black people in managerial positions. So it's exactly what the John Steenhuisen is doing. He's doing exactly what they're doing in Cape Town. They want to hire uneducated white people into positions that require education. I mean, for you to be a minister, at least have grade 12. I mean, how are you going to read complex documents without education? But the other thing is that John Steenhuisen is a minister of white people, and he's clear about that. Let me give you an example. John Steenhuisen was very much quick to go to Ukraine for a fact-finding mission. 2 women were killed in Limpopo in a farm. These women are killed by a white farmer. After killing them, he took their bodies and fed them to the pigs that is farming. John Steenhuisen doesn't visit the family. Okay, fine. But John Steenhuisen doesn't even visit the farm on a fact-finding mission to see these pigs that ate human flesh, that ate people. Where are they now? Are they going to be sold? What are they going to be put down? What is to happen to the pigs? John Steenhuisen didn't go there. Just right there in Cape Town, a white farmer accused a 6-year-old child of stealing orange, and he hit him with a car, break his legs. John Steenhuisen say nothing about it. But when there is a white person murdered in a farm, it must be called a farm murder, and the whole of GA will go there with John Steenhuisen. So you can see that in John Steenhuisen, we don't have minister of everyone. So that's why we're saying DA is bringing apartheid through back door. He is minister of white people. It can't be. I mean, imagine 2 women are killed. Not only killed, they are fed to pigs, feeding human beings to pigs. And John Steenhuisen doesn't say anything about it. So when he's not hiring there, I mean, it doesn't come as a shock to us because we know who this man is.
And in closing, you know, what message does the EFF want to send to South Africans about this government and the role the EFF will play in the country's future?
As the EFF, we want to tell South Africans that we have now demonstrated that we are the only party that stand by the previously disadvantaged. We are the only party that is not self-serving. We refused to be in government of national unity with the killers of Chris Hani for positions. And we want to remind South Africans that we are a party that exists at national level. And they must be aware of the propaganda that is being spread that the EFF is collapsing. Let our people know that the EFF increased its votes in Western Cape. The EFF increased its votes in Northern Cape. The EFF increased its votes in Free State and Eastern Cape. So this party is growing. And we understand our people are tired of political organizations that come in and die like Ahang and Cope. So they gave us a chance to demonstrate that indeed we are here to stay. And we have showed them that we are here to stay. And our people are starting to come on our own, that now we have our trust in you. The position that we took in GNU, our people are coming in numbers to say, now we have trust in you, now we have an alternative. So we are back in parliament. We are still going to fight. But we want to fight for people who are fighting as well. We want because our people must understand that the EFF can't fight for them. The EFF can fight with them. They must also participate in this fighting, because this that we are embarked, what we are fighting on, you can see that now the establishment is fighting and is going all out. And if we don't fight in time, these people have the capacity to finance a civil war. They have the capacity to finance rebels. And you must ask yourself, why are we saying that? If they can spend millions in funding political organizations, that do not respect democracy internally, what will happen to these political parties if they are to win elections? Are we still going to have democracy if Action SA is to win elections, if PA is to win elections, if Rise Mzansi is to win elections? Because internally, they don't respect democracy. So you must ask yourself, why are the Oppenheimers funding political parties that do not respect democracy? If the aim is not to destabilize this country so that they can get our minerals for free without any organized government regulating them. So we must look into the dangers of those who are funding these political parties, because it should have been illegal to fund a political party that do not have democratic processes to elect its leaders, because you are funding future dictators, you are funding future rebels, you are funding future warmongers. So our people must wake up and rise and fight for what belongs to them, their land and their economy. Our people must play a central role in their economy. We must not be spectators of the game we should have been playing.
Anthony Matumba, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate the time that you've given us, and we hope that you find success in representing the people of South Africa in every space that you find. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much to you and your, they are not listeners, they are viewers. Thank you to you and your viewers.
Yes. No, thank you very much.